I know you ain't never seen Fright Night. Do you even know what I was just doing? Do you know?
No, I have no idea what the fuck just happened.
Welcome to CineMeal. We're gonna talk vampires today with Radio Silence's Abigail. I do not love vampire movies. I love werewolf movies, but I do love insane ideas for vampire movies. I just quoted Fright Night, Tom Holland's greatness. Not Spider-Man Tom Holland, but Chucky Tom Holland. And here we are today to talk Abigail. Had to have my bat ears on, my 3D glasses, because it's 80s as Justin, I'm sorry for yelling at you, but I just wanted to get the anger out of the way because I know you've never seen Fright Night.
It's okay.
I love you, dog.
Oh,
you need to get
too.
Cultured. Anyways, I'm Freddy. This is Justin. Like I said, we're here to talk about Radio Silence's Abigail. Justin, you are not a fan of horror movies. I have very much brought that.
Why do you say that I'm not a fan of horror movies?
Because you haven't seen them.
I've seen horror movies that I do
You're
love.
not letting me.
No. You know what? Because you know what? I'm tired of these. You tell everybody that I hate horror movies. That's not the fact.
What I said.
There's just some horror movies that I hate.
I said you're not a huge fan of horror movies. And I have brought horror movies more into your life.
I'm going to roll back the tape. I'm going to roll back the tape.
Justin, you are not a fan of horror movies.
I'm just saying, my point being that I'm trying to get us into this goddamn conversation. You give me 5 seconds. Is I don't think you would have seen Abigail had I not been like, let's go see Abigail.
No, absolutely not.
There you go. That's all I'm saying.
It's definitely not the type of movie that I'm like, yeah, well, let me do this because I want to do this.
Oh, this is definitely a type of movie I've been like, I want to see this immediately.
It was better than I expected it to be. I do have some complaints for it, but what, you think it's a perfect movie? Like The First Omen?
No, I think it's a perfect movie on par with From Dusk Till Dawn. Anyways, if I'm going to have a complaint about this movie, the trailer was like, it's a ballerina vampire. And you're like, holy.
Yeah.
What's so fucking funny?
But that ballerina vampire part doesn't happen until halfway through the movie. Now,
Yeah.
that is not a mark against it. To me, that is a mark against the marketing. Now, I know a lot of people be like, Freddy, no one would fucking see this movie. It didn't have a ballerina vampire in the trailer. I disagree. You look at From Dusk Till Dawn. That movie is a heist movie for the halfway point. Crazy as shit. All of a sudden, vampires happen. I've talked to many of people who the first time they saw that movie did not know vampires were coming. And that changes the viewing experience for them. Now, that being said, I was a little disappointed at first with how long it took to get to the ballerina vampire.
Yeah, because I mean, they tell you it in the trailer.
Yes.
It's just like, yeah, that's definitely one of my big issues.
There's a more subtle way to sell this movie that is in lieu with the type of movie it is. And that type of movie is a very like 80s style movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Charlie Brewster was next door neighbor looking in on his neighbors' crazy shenanigans. And all of a sudden, there's a monster next door. And it's Jerry Dandridge, the vampire. But like, it didn't show like all the crazy shit that was gonna happen and show Evil Ed. There's a way you do a trailer for this movie where it's like, holy shit, we're gonna kidnap this girl. We're in this house. There's something in this house.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's a vampire. You don't know if it's a werewolf. You know what it is. And then the
The
insanity would have unfolded before your eyes.
The thing is that's common
For everything now.
Yeah, it's just a common practice.
Everything in
literally
the trailer.
every fucking part of your story in the trailer.
Yeah.
Which I hate because
I do too.
And that's why I, for the most part, try to avoid trailers because I'd rather just fucking watch the movie.
What's funny is, okay, so obviously by the marquee here, it's a Radio Silence film. I fucking love Radio Silence. Radio Silence is one of two filmmaking collectives I love. There's Radio Silence and Roadkill Superstar. Roadkill Superstar did Turbo Kid and Summer 84. Radio Silence started with our fucking lords and saviors, Simon Barrett and Adam Wingard's VHS. And they did the very last segment of the first VHS movie where it's the guys going into the haunted house. They see a satanic ritual for the first time. They run out. They leave. They get out. They don't have a problem. They're out. But they're like, we should do the right thing and go save those people. Which is like a whole mind fuck when you're watching that movie. Like, holy shit, they got out and they're gonna go back in.
Yeah.
So that automatically put them on the radar for me. Then they did Devil's Due, which is their first big studio movie. It's kind of a piece of shit. But I do feel like they were immediately given a found footage movie. VHS is found footage. And the studio was like, you have to do it this way. It was just so generic and bland.
Go figure the studio's fucking up shit.
I think you should leave.
Then Radio Silence got to make Samara Weaving's Ready or Not, which is a fucking stellar movie. Phenomenal ending too. Crazy as hell. And then they went on to do Scream 5. I have Scream 6 here, which is the last movie they did before Abigail. Scream 6, I think, is an amazing entry in the Scream franchise. It's fucking changes stuff, brings back some characters you love.
Hey, you want to know something?
You haven't seen any of them, have
I
you?
haven't seen it. Well, no, I've seen the Scream movies. Yeah, I haven't seen the last two though.
Okay, so here's the thing that I was gonna get at. Scream 5 is the Force Awakens of Scream movies in the sense that
Cool.
Scream's entire purpose is to mirror what's going on in the filmmaking landscape at the time. And at the time, it was requels. They even talk about requels in Scream 5.
Oh my god, he's making a requel.
A what?
Or like a sequel. Fans are torn on the terminology.
Please speak English.
But I was bored by it because it's like making fun of something, but because of it's making fun of that, it's following the formula.
Yeah.
So I kind of hated it. Scream 6 then all of a sudden came out and I thought it was phenomenal. So then you had Scream 7, but then there's all the controversy with Melissa Barrera, who is now in Abigail. And so I think they went on and made Abigail instead Scream. And that cast for Abigail, dude. Like, Radio Silence has a fucking perfect eye for.
Well, we know that one of your
together.
favorite people of all time is in
Dan
that.
Stevens!
We knew that was coming.
Dude, Trapper from Kongzilla. And from The Guest.
I will say I love his character.
He's such a fucker in this movie.
Yeah,
And when he reveals that he is, spoilers, when he's a fucking co-op,
he's a fucking
you
cop.
dirty fucking co-op. And you find out his actual name, because none of them have names in the beginning, they have like monikers. My favorite.
Because they're not supposed to know each other's names.
Exactly.
You don't know them.
Yeah.
You don't know them. It don't
But
matter.
My favorite little Easter egg is Dan Stevens' name is Adam Barrett.
I didn't even notice that.
Which
Yeah.
Adam Wingard and Simon
Yeah,
Barrett,
yeah.
because they gave Radio Silence their start. And I giggled way too much for that. Because he's like, she goes, I know who you are, Detective Adam Barrett. And the whole audience was like, what the hell? And I'm like, so giddy, dude. But yeah, then you had Giancarlo Esposito, which, I mean, fucking Moff Gideon, dude. Then you've got Catherine Newton, who's having a fucking stellar couple of years, man. Starring in Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. Whatever you say about the movie, she got in a Marvel movie. Then this year, she also had Lisa fucking Frankenstein. And that movie was fucking great.
I still need to watch that.
Dude,
Diablo
Diablo Cody's
that's on my
comeback,
fucking list.
Robin Williams' daughter, Zelda Williams, directing it. Like, she's doing great right now. And you have one of my favorite character actors, Vasily from The Strain, Kevin Durand, as like the big muscle-bound drunk dude.
Fucking hilarious, bro.
And then you got Meth Head Larry. Well, you mean, man, you want to have some candy with me? Fucking tweaking out, man.
R.I.P.
I mean, I don't even remember that dude's name.
Yeah. I don't remember his name, but I know he died.
I was
And it
like,
sad.
the whole time I was just disgusted by him. I was like, you look
Yeah.
like every meth head in Florida that's like, you want to buy a gator and
It's like,
some
how did you
pasty
fucking
pie.
get here, bro?
I'm Beth Wheelman, though, and his jaw falls off.
Yeah.
Speaking of jaws falling off, the blood in this movie, the gore, dude.
Yeah.
That's the thing here, is like the first half is set up for these characters, which I do think in a very well-made horror movie, you need good setup. You need to establish characters, and that's, like I said, that's where the
but you don't need a trailer to fucking ruin it.
That's the problem.
You know?
But that's the thing is I'm like, this is this generation's in a sense From Dusk Till Dawn. Because you don't know vampirism is coming into this. Bank robbery, kidnapping, band of fucking eccentric characters, band of eccentric characters. And all genre vets and amazing actors. This should have been a fucking ballpark win. I don't know what needed to happen because someone who works in the theaters, I see people, and this was a problem with Late Night with the Devil. People heard about like Stephen King loving it and shit like that. They go and they're like, it's just talking. It's not scary. And I fucking hate that. I hate that more than anything where people are like, do the normal public, you need jump scares. And that makes it scary. And I'm like, nah, dude, you need to tell a good fucking story. And so that's how I felt Abigail was. It was a perfect setup for a good story. And then it crescendoed into a fucking oeuvre of fucking blood, violence, gore. And if we saw Ready or Not, explosive bodies. And the little girl who played Abigail, dear God, she is demented and tormented and fucked up, man. So the reason I talk about Fright Night too at the open, because that was another fucking thing I saw, was, you know, she gets popped up in the face and she's like, "Rah!" That reminded me of Evil Ed from fucking Fright Night. There's a lot of homages that I really like in this movie that just like made me so happy. But yeah, dude, I mean, when she's just like dancing with the headless corpse and they're all just watching, and as it goes, they're like, oh, she's toying with us.
Yeah.
And the
like
whole,
she could have easily just fucking killed
them
all of them. Yeah.
It was a literal death trap house
Yeah.
that she built to
Yeah.
have fun because she's bored. And like, it's a great parallel with her and her father, Melissa Barrera, and her son. Because all the people in this house have fucked up pasts and stuff they're trying to get away from that have to do with this mafia. Spoilers, this mafia is headed by a fucking vampire. And the stories they tell throughout, like the intricacies and twists and turns in this movie that just kept going, I was like, holy shit, it was insane. You hated it, didn't you?
No, I didn't hate it. It's
You
just
fucking thought it was stupid.
no. I liked the movie overall, but I don't know if I loved the direction it went in the end. Overall, it was fun. It was good. It was fun. It was fun. It was fun. It was. I can't love every movie, Freddie.
You hate every horror movie review.
I don't hate this movie.
You've hated every horror movie
hated
reviewed.
The First Omen. This movie I did not hate.
God damn, dude.
I just didn't necessarily love the way it went at the end. It just kind of
It kind of what?
felt jumbled at the end.
How?
The whole setup for the dad coming in and having guy who from Breaking Bad.
Giancarlo Esposito?
Yeah, god damn it. I like
The guy from Breaking
the
Bad.
guy from Breaking Bad. That's how I remember him.
Bugging out from Do the Right Thing, dog?
Mandalorian.
God damn, that might have been the worst forgetful name moments.
I can't.
I love you, dog.
That's okay.
All right, no, continue.
No, it just felt jumbled to me. Like it just the last 10 minutes of the movie. I wish it went a little different.
What would you wanted though?
They really just gonna let her walk away, bro?
Yeah, that was the whole point. Was she finally appealed to this millennia-old vampire's heart in the sense that like her father doesn't care about her. She even says she's like, I hate this room. This is the room where I was turned.
Yeah.
And she got to see and talk to Melissa Barrera's character about how much she actually cared about her kid, and and she also helped take out Dan Stevens and
Yeah,
Giancarlo.
yeah.
So like she fucking one owed her, and two finally for the first time in probably years felt something, and it helped her semi connect to her fucking father again.
Yeah.
And that's why the father let her go, because he even says like, you stay one more
Yeah,
minute, basically it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Throughout the movie I didn't know where any of that shit was going, and then when they
Yeah.
have that like connection, I'm like, okay, I can dig that I'm down with. I'll give you Giancarlo like turntail out of nowhere. You just don't have a lot of background on him.
Yeah,
But,
it
like-
just felt to me that part felt forced a little bit.
I mean, if it's like a whole discovery thing, because I like the idea of them like discovering shit throughout the movie. I hate when they spoon feed the audience shit,
Yeah.
where it's like, here's this exposition, but you had like snippets throughout the whole fucking movie that you're piecing shit together.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that quite a bit because I don't hate it. I'm just kind of tired of like the exposition spills. I'm guilty of that shit too when I write, and when I do a rewrite, I try to fix it up. But that's, I think, is the directing collective's greatness, especially when they sit down to write stuff, is like, hey man, you're doing too much of this, let me try it this way. And I think that's why like this movie in particular and Ready or Not both have such differentiations throughout the run times, because you have checks and balances to like, hey, let's not go this route, let's go this route.
What do we know about vampires?
That they're not real.
What are we talking about? Like an Anne Rice or True Blood? Twilight? Very different kind of vampires.
And it gives way to a lot of good storytelling moments as well as visually striking things. And their fucking use of Danzig's fucking blood and tears. Oh my God, dude. And when Catherine Newton changes and she's muppeting her like a meat puppet, and it's like, oh my God, dude. Perfection.
I don't know. I don't hate the movie. Not that I need to be spoon-fed anything. It felt like it did jump rather quickly as far as like...
Other than that moment, what else jumped though?
The scene with Dan Stevens turning, and then all of a sudden it's flip-flop. Now she's fighting with Abigail against Dan Stevens.
Because at that moment though, like
I honestly didn't think Dan Stevens was gonna go that direction.
Yeah, but Dan Stevens is a crooked fucking cop, dude. Like, he's already not good. Probably one of the worst people in the movie. He's gonna side with whoever's gonna help him. At that point, he gets ultimate power. He has power over anything and everything. And that's a great moment, too, where his dumbass... That's the thing. That's a character moment and character flaw in the sense that, like, his dumbass thought immediately he was gonna be able to control Melissa Barrera.
Yeah.
And because of that fucking narcissism, she was able to defeat him. And even Abigail is all like, you can't get that much power so quickly, you dipshit. That's what's great about it, man. It's all these subtle character moments that build these characters and situations. Once again, I will give you Giancarlo comes out of nowhere. I wish that had a little more beef to it, but everything else, like, because you're watching...
I know, when I saw him, like, at the beginning, like, okay, so he's gonna have a big part, right?
I thought he was just gonna take off.
He
Honestly, I was like, here's your cameo, dog.
Yeah, and then he's gone.
I mean, other than that, like, I feel like every other character had their moment and reason.
Oh, maybe I just suck.
Dog, we're having a discussion.
Maybe
I'm
I
not
just
yelling
suck.
at you. I'm not hating on you.
I'm just having PTSD from the last time.
From which fucking
The
time? All right. At the end of the day, I quite enjoyed this movie. The violence and gore, chef's kiss.
I will say the gore was good. Like all
you
of it was.
So you haven't seen Ready or Not?
No.
Okay, I feel like that's a staple now for radio silence in movies with supernatural shit. Because at the end of Ready or Not, people literally explode into blood. That's another thing too. With both zombie movies and vampire movies, I get tired of them when it's just the same shit. But when a filmmaker or a writer takes the lore and changes it up a bit to like fit something new, like I've never seen just like vampires just explode like that. I can think of maybe like 2 other movies, but it's not like, you know.
Yeah, because in Blade they explode, but it's like not as quick. It's definitely not as quick. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, they melt and shit, like they're bubbling.
Yeah.
This one, it's just viscera. And I did love watching when like her hand came off and she's like growing it back, which reminded me of Sam from Trick or Treat when his hand comes off. I thought that shit was dope. No, very, very good practical effects.
The effects were great.
Yeah,
the effects were great. No, like
and the ballerina shit, it just was like
it added an element of comedy to it.
Yeah.
For me, like that was just like it was
literally a ballet of gore.
Yeah.
And like when she's literally doing her shit and dancing, because it is just her toying with him. And I was like, let's go.
Yeah, she was creepy, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Really and then I mean the line that it's in the trailer as well, but the whole you know, she likes to play with her food.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking straight up like
she's like
like she did phenomenal. She did phenomenal.
You gonna hate on Melissa Barrera?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, the acting was great.
Top notch.
Yeah.
My only thing is like I wish like when Homeboy came out, I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if it was Nicolas Cage as Dracula or some shit? Like,
that would have been awesome.
Because Renfield has one of my favorite lines when he dies at the end of it, where he's like dying and he's like, I want to spend a summer in hell where all the interesting people are. And I'm like, let's go, dude. But yeah, I don't know who the fuck that actor was that played Dracula.
I've seen him in several things.
I mean, like,
I can't place
there's
him.
like other actors I think that like as a genre fan you could like Doug Jones, Baron Afonas from What We Do in the Shadows, like would have been great coming in like that.
Awesome.
Just like random, like I don't know, but like it was still cool. Radio Silence loves to have those little stingers because there's a stinger like that at the end of Ready or Not. Anyways, at the end of the day, I will say it. I give this movie a 5 bloody explosive plates out of 5.
A full 5.
Yeah, dog.
Well,
you're gonna give it a 2, I know.
No, I'm not gonna give it a 2. This is hard because I very much did enjoy the movie. It's a fun time. I wasn't bored watching it.
I also want to point out, I was listening to another show, and apparently the shots that you were angry at in the first Omen were practical shots.
Well, they look like shit. Regardless.
Anyways, so I'm gonna say 5 for Abigail.
All right, you want to like fuck you, all right? It still looked like shit. You know what? I gave it a fucking 1. All right. Nah, I'm just kidding. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't get mad.
Do you want to hurt Dan Stevens?
I give it a.
I know. Just give it a 3. I know you want to give it a 3.
3.5.
So at that point, do we make it 3.5 for this?
Huh?
Between 5 and 3.5? Is that a 4 or is that 4?
It's technically a 4.5, right?
I'm gonna settle on 4, just to be fair.
4. Everything's a goddamn 4 here, bro.
Nah, there's a couple. Don't worry. That's the end of CineMeal for this week. We have given Radio Silence Abigail 4 hot, bloody plates of delicious B positive blood.
Oh yes.
Out of 5.
Oh, yes.
Justin would like to give it lower, but
you know what?
I am here to be the defender of horror films.
And I don't hate horror. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know what? This was a great episode. You know, we did really good. And everything that we said was on point. And fuck that shot from the first Omen.
Anyways, that's been CineMeal for this week. Thank you guys.
Take it easy.
See you next time. Yay.